Welcome to the Pregnancy Help Podcast. I'm Christine Grimmett. I'm here with Kathy German, Heartbeat International's Director of Affiliate Services, and Emily Burning, President and co-founder of the pro-life organization Let Them Live. And Let Them Live was founded by Emily and her husband, and they work to support women facing an unplanned pregnancy through financial support, counseling, and coaching, often collaborating with pregnancy centers to accomplish those goals. And we'll hear today about how you as a pregnancy help organization can be a part of that collaboration as well. Before we talk about that, I want to bring up an upcoming in-person training opportunity that Heartbeat International offers each year, Pregnancy Help Institute. This will take place at the end of July in Columbus, Ohio. And this year we're offering 4 intensive tracks: new director, development, media, and leadership. You don't want to miss this chance to receive professional training specific to your work in pregnancy help. Visit heartbeatservices.org or click on the link in the show notes for more. Thank you, Emily, for being here, and thank you, Kathy, for joining us. And I'll turn things over to you guys.
Great. Thank you, Christine. Emily, welcome. We're so glad to have you here today and just to be able to share with our listeners and our affiliates more about Let Them Live and how you collaborate with pregnancy centers. So we'd love to hear more about your work. I'm curious, though, what inspired you to start Let Them Live? Was there like a particular moment or a story, something that moved you to take that action and get it started?
Yeah, it's crazy because looking back, there's been so many moments where I now can see, looking back, how God just totally formed this organization. But there was one specific moment. This was a couple of months after Nathan and I got married. So we were newlyweds. We didn't have any money. We had a little bit of money from our wedding. So, that's what we had in our bank account. I'm sure anyone who's married can understand that. And it was actually late one night, and Nathan was up on Facebook, and he saw this post in a pro-life group. It was a woman saying, "Hey, my cousin has an abortion scheduled. Can anyone give me advice? Can I have some help? Like, what do I do?" And he reached out to her directly and asked a very important question. He said, "Why? Why is she having that abortion?" And that's such an important question to ask, because day in and day out, we see women that are going into the abortion clinic, and they're going in for a reason. And if we can understand why, then we can address the problem and come up with a solution. So she responded and said that her cousin was evicted and she was living in her car, and it was freezing. It was December, and she lost her job, and really just like every single way that a pregnant woman could get knocked down, she was. And feeling scared and vulnerable and feeling like she had no options, she scheduled an abortion. And it is really sad that that's where we're at with our culture, where abortion seems to be the default or fallback option. But that's where she was at that point in time. And so Nathan he has such a big heart. I love him so much. He saw this problem, and he saw that this pregnant woman was in her car, and he said, "This is just not acceptable." He wasn't even really pro-life at the time. So this is just human to human, seeing that this is just not okay. So he actually offered to like financially support this mom, this woman, and give her everything in our bank account, which wasn't a whole lot, like I said, but it was enough to help pay her rent, to get her back into her apartment. And we did. So he nudged me awake. It's like 3 a.m, and he's like, "Hey, do you want to save a life from abortion?" And I was like, "Absolutely." Of course, we all would want to do that. And I think all of us would answer yes. But then when it comes down to it, it's like, well, how? And he's like, "Well, we got to give this mom everything we have, and she's going to cancel her abortion." And I was like, okay, I don't know if I understood really. But we did, and she did. She canceled her abortion. We got her back into her apartment, and she sent us an ultrasound a few days later. And that was the moment. We had started Let Them Live prior to this, but we just didn't know what our mission was going to be. And this was that light bulb moment where we realized like there is a real need for financial support. So we started researching and found that that's the biggest reason why women are going into the abortion clinic, is those financial barriers. So if we could help kind of take those down, it might give them the space and the time that they need to really make the decision that they want to make.
That is so beautiful, Emily. I love how, like, over and over, like God always stirs the hearts of his people for action, and the fact that your husband was just so moved by that story and wanted to just, even though the two of you didn't have a ton of money, just to be able to open up your bank account and to help this woman save her child from abortion. I love that. I love the heart behind how you got it started. And I love the fact that, it's like you and your husband as a team started this. And I think
Yes.
that's really beautiful too in your marriage to do that. So
Thank
that's
you.
wonderful. Um, so Let Them Live then focuses primarily on financial assistance for women who are considering abortion. So then how can you explain a little bit about how you collaborate or partner with pregnancy centers in the work that you do?
Yeah, we love working with pregnancy centers. I think that pregnancy centers do such an amazing job of reaching women, especially pregnancy centers that are strategically located, close to or next to abortion clinics, because we know that pregnancy centers are providing the real support and the real help and the real encouragement and empowerment. So we absolutely love working with pregnancy centers, and the partnership is sort of two ways. So one of the problems that we've faced with Let Them Live that pregnancy centers have already solved is that we don't have like a physical location. We are kind of a virtual organization. So we provide our support and our help virtually. We're more like digitally based. And so because of that, we don't have brick and mortar with ultrasound machines and things like that. But the pregnancy centers are already equipped to do that. And we're not here to reinvent the wheel. And I think part of the power in the pro-life movement is knowing what you can do and what you can't do, and what you can't do, who can. And so that was the power of the pregnancy centers, was knowing what they could provide. A lot of pregnancy centers kind of on the reverse side may not have the financial ability to come in and maybe help with some of those really big financial needs and focus in on that. And so that's where Let Them Live gets called in. So a really good example that has happened, there's a couple of them, but one would be a woman comes to Let Them Live. Maybe she found us on social media and we need to verify her pregnancy and make sure that she gets in to a pregnancy center. So we're going to refer her to a partner pregnancy center, or if we don't have one already, we're going to find one and partner with them. So we're going to get her into that pregnancy center because that in-person local support is huge. And that's not something where we can provide most of the time. We would like to. We have people all over the place and we step in when we can that way. But she's going to go in and she's going to get all of her services and get her ultrasound and see her baby. We're going to get that ultrasound as well, which helps us to get our process started. And then we're going to be able to support her. On the flip side, we, for example, had a mom who went to the pregnancy center first. I think she was brought there by a sidewalk counselor. And she was going to have this abortion because I think it was $10,000 in back rent that she owed. And she was about to be evicted, and just really, just kind of a typical situation that these women find themselves in. And the pregnancy center had no way to pay that. And so we stepped in and we took our part and we said, absolutely, we've got this. So we negotiated down the bill, we paid that, and she was not homeless and she canceled her abortion. So it was really a team effort. So I think it's just a beautiful example of how we can all work together to make sure that these moms have every single thing that they need from every resource possible.
That's really great. And it is a beautiful collaboration of Let Them Live and a pregnancy center. So kind of walk me through how it would happen, or like how it would play out if, a woman comes into a pregnancy center and she does present that that's like one of her main factors why she's considering abortion, that she just can't afford it. She already has other kids maybe and just doesn't have the financial resources. So a pregnancy center, obviously, if they know about Let Them Live, like how does she make that referral? Does she make a phone call? Is there like a referral form, an intake sheet that she has to fill out and submit to you? Like, and then how fast does the process move? Is it like right there while the pregnancy center staff is meeting with the woman? I mean, can it all happen kind of really quickly? Like, can you just walk us through that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we have a whole training program for this as well for the pregnancy center. So if there is a pregnancy center that wants to partner with us, we're going to make sure they're connected with Summer. So she does our partnerships, and she's going to train them and give scenarios and hey, here's an example of when to refer us, or when to refer to us, who to refer to us, things like that. And so they can absolutely do that. Sometimes the mom is open to filling out our intake form and kind of getting started right then and there. Sometimes she may want to kind of think about it. It really depends. So we do have different resources for that. So it really can be as quick as right then and there, especially if it's an emergency situation. I think that's where Let Them Live really shines, and that's really the heart of our mission, is sort of the think of us as like the emergency room of the pro-life movement. So when there's a serious situation and she's going to have this abortion and it's literally right now life or death, and she's got to get support. We're really quick about that. So she can get that started and get that going. She can also call or text us. We have our hotline number. So we make sure to equip the pregnancy centers with all of our resources and information. So that way they and the mom, they are prepared and they have all the ways that they can connect with us. But once that intake form is submitted, we actually utilize AI. So we have our own I'm not the technology person here, but we have an AI that we developed that is self-contained, and it's called Alice. And that stands for Abortion Likelihood Indicator, Calculator, and Evaluator. So that allows us, from the responses that we receive, to sort of triage. So again, kind of an emergency room analogy. We use a triage system for moms that come in. And if they're red, that means like she's going to have this abortion. We really have to go. If she's green, she's not considering abortion at all. We still want to make sure that there's resources, but that financial support is really reserved for those red moms, because that money is going to be the difference between life or death for her child. So we have this, we utilize AI, which is amazing, to help kind of give us an idea of where this mom is at. And then we will be able to kind of start our process if she qualifies for the financial support. But that is something that is gone over with the pregnancy center staff on again, how to refer, when to refer, who to refer. And it's a really good process. And then we like to make sure to keep on our end, keep you guys up to date as much as we can. So that way there's communication and making sure that she's getting everything she needs and that there's updates.
That's really great. And I love that you have training for pregnancy centers as well, just to help them understand completely the process and to know how it works. So then you probably need like proof of pregnancy and all of those things. And then I'm assuming you keep in touch with the woman, and then do the finances work where you pretty much send the money to, like, let's say she's behind on her rent, you make the payment to the landlord, right? You're not just giving her the cash or whatever. So you're
Yep.
paying that so that you know that it's actually being used for that.
Yep, we have a whole verification process, and throughout the time that we are supporting the mom, we're paying those bills to, if we're paying her phone bill, it's going to Verizon. If we're paying her utilities, we're paying the utility company directly. We're making sure those payments are going where they're supposed to go. And so that's part of when a mom comes to us, we're gonna come up with a financial plan for her. So after she's talked to her counselor and kind of gotten everything out on the table, and we see how we can best help her, we're going to come up with an agreement. And this just outlines so that we know and that she knows from the very beginning what we're helping with, how long, what it looks like, how much, and that way everyone is on the same page from the beginning. So it varies from mom to mom, but it really could look something like, we're going to help you with 5 months of rent and 4 months of utilities and 3 months of car payment. Really depends and varies, but we do really like to have a sort of tapered financial agreement, because it allows the mom to slowly start to take her bills back over, which is the ultimate goal. So it's a really good process, but we do have a vetting process. We do require the updated ultrasound, which is another huge benefit for Let Them Live from the pregnancy centers, is to make sure that that pregnancy is obviously real. And we are staying in contact with the moms throughout their pregnancy and after as well. Really after, it depends on how much contact they'd like to have, but our counselors are checking in with them on a regular basis. We have virtual support groups where all the different moms join on a weekly Zoom call, and they're able to kind of share and talk and work together on different problems. And we put them so that these are moms that are in the same stage of pregnancy or if they're postpartum, that type of thing, so they can build a community. So we have a lot of different touch points with them, and we're going to make sure that if it is a referral from a pregnancy center or a sidewalk counselor, that there's open communication between us and them, so that we can again make sure that everything is smooth and everything's being communicated, and all the support that we're giving is just laid out on the table.
I really love that, Emily. I love that it's not just the financial resources and then you're just kind of done with her. You've helped her with the finances and she's decided to parent, but just the fact that you have that ongoing support, that you stay in touch with her, you help her to stay connected to the pregnancy center, and then also that online like the support groups. I think that was something I didn't realize that you guys did, and I can you maybe unpack that a little bit more? Um I think that that's a really, really good way to help these moms to really feel part of a community and to feel like they're not alone, because you can just feel really, really isolated. I know when my kids were really little and I had support of a husband and family and friends and everything around me, and it's lonely being a parent, and especially with little ones. And so, imagining some of these women that come into our centers they don't have the support around them, so it can be lonely. And just that connection with other moms to know that, they're going through the same things that you are. So, yeah, maybe if you could explain that a little bit more, because like I said, I didn't realize that that was part of what your program does. So I think it's
Yeah,
great.
we have definitely developed more parts to our program over the years, just to kind of fill gaps where we've seen with our moms and hopefully provide some more support. So one of the other things I'll touch on before I get into that is we also do financial coaching. So these are courses that the moms can join that our team teaches, budgeting, saving. I'm actually teaching a class next month on couponing because I love to coupon. It's such a fun thing. And so our moms love to coupon as well. So we're going to come together, share our tips and tricks and just money saving ways. So we have a lot of different resources for the moms in that sense. But these support groups, like you said, these moms, a lot of them don't have support at home. They don't have their boyfriend or their husband around, and they're scared. They could be first time moms and they don't know what to do or anything like that. So this is a place for them to come. It's a weekly group led by someone on our team, Dr. Joy, and she is able to really go deep with these moms. So some of the groups, some of the meetings each week are a little bit more lighthearted and could be fun, and especially around the holidays, like having a Christmas party, things like that. But some of them are more deep and touching on some of the deeper rooted traumas, and going into their lives and the things they struggle with, and talking about their faith and things like that. So this is really for moms to allow them to go a lot deeper. And then the postpartum group as well is a great place, especially for new moms. And this is their first time and they don't know what to do. And these other moms that are part of the group serve as a great resource for the first time moms, because they've been there, they're able to share advice and what to do, what not to do. And in fact, we actually have a mom who went through our program and she did our support groups, that she's actually going to be leading a support group for us. So she's going to be sharing her own experience and coming from that place and being able to really reach out to our moms. So it's just a great 1 hour a week virtual, just wherever you're at, open your computer, put your phone on, and this is a space to just talk and be real and let it all out, and it's okay. So
How beautiful is that? I love that. And I love too about the mom who has come through the program and now she's going to lead a meeting. That's wonderful too. And I love just that mom to mom mentoring, because I think, it's more maybe credible, maybe for some of the other moms, like they see other moms in the group and they listen to another mom share a story of how, she survived when, the baby was up all night every night for weeks on end. And, just to be able to have that mom to mom mentoring. I love that. And yeah, wow. And then the financial coaching and couponing and budgeting and all of that, they're such important life skills that unfortunately kids aren't really learning in school anymore. So just the fact to have those life skills being taught to these women at this stage. So do you find the participation rate is pretty good among the moms? I mean, I'm sure it's case by case and everyone has different circumstances, but do you get pretty good participation in these groups?
Yeah, we definitely do. It can be hard, I know, for some moms, especially when they're starting because, it's new. I mean, for me, I'm not really like a group Zoom person either, so I totally understand it. But once they kind of get into it, they really do. And we also for the financial courses and the coaching that we provide, we every once in a while will do some little surprises. So, for example, I think the upcoming financial course people, the women that show up for it, and hop on virtually, we're actually going to pay a little bit of each of their debt. So we're going to put a certain amount towards them, towards their debt. So whatever their debt is, because that's part of what they're being taught is how to eliminate their debt and kind of get that ball rolling. So there's little things like that we like to do for them if they've really been putting in the effort, which I'm sure that pregnancy centers directors and counselors can understand this. You know when moms are putting in the effort and which moms aren't. Most of them do, which is amazing. Most of the moms, majority of our moms, they want to better their situation. They want to be the best mom. They want to give their child the best life that they can, and they're willing to use the resources that are available to them to do that. And that's another, again, point where we love to partner with the pregnancy centers and embrace grace groups and sidewalk counselors and churches and literally whoever and whatever we can in every organization because you guys have resources we don't, we might have resources you don't, and we encourage these moms to go to, like, I think a lot of pregnancy centers have the earn to learn. We encourage them to do that as well because all of these resources are going to help them in the long run. So we really love it. These moms, they love the resources, they love the support, and we've gotten really good turnout.
That's amazing. This is beautiful, and I love what you just commented about embrace grace groups and churches and pregnancy centers, just everybody working together in the pro-life movement. And I think that that's also really beautiful. Just the unity and working hand in hand, collaborating because we all have the same heart and the same mission is that we want to save these children from abortion and we want to see these moms empowered and equipped and we want to see them thrive and flourish and make a better life for themselves and for their children. So I love that. I love that collaboration. So now I'm curious about how do you raise funds to do all this work? I'm sure you have a lot of great donors and maybe organizations that give. So how do you guys stay afloat, I guess, financially to be able to provide these wonderful resources?
By the grace of God. No, literally, but like I had mentioned before, we're a very digitally forward organization. I have to thank my husband for that. He's just a very tech-minded person, and we really utilize the resources we have in 2025 and the things that are available to us, like our social media, to be able to reach people. So we have donors around the world, and it's really just as easy as sharing a story of a mom that has come to us. And obviously, we changed certain details. We're trying to protect her privacy, but it's all about storytelling and sharing these real situations that these moms are in and the desperate situations they find themselves in, and the fact that they want to choose life, but they feel like they're backed into this corner. And so we share that. We have a lot of different ways we raise funds, but one of the main ways is through sort of our own like GoFundMe style. Like we have an online crowdfunding. So on our website, every week on social media and on our website, we'll post a new fundraiser with a story about a real mom, and people can donate. And we have a goal, and they're able to contribute towards it if they feel called to or pulled towards this mom and her story. And then once someone donates and they give, they're going to be able to follow her throughout her journey. So they're going to get ultrasound updates. They're going to, if she has a gender reveal party, they're going to get to see that, like all these different things and ways that they're going to be involved in this one mom and this one baby's life. And if they give to every fundraiser, they're going to be getting lots of updates. But that's just one way. So we're able to put it out on social media. We use a lot of digital marketing, digital ads. That's all above my pay grade. I leave that to Nathan. But we're utilizing the technology that's available to us. From that, we also build our monthly support as well, and we also partner, like you said, with organizations that support us. We also have our Adopt a Mom program. So that's our like church sponsorship or small group or even individual, but it's a one-on-one type of sponsorship in the sense that a group or an individual or a church can look at all the moms that are participating in our Adopt a Mom program, sort of like a catalog, and read a little bit about them and pick a mom that they want to sponsor. So it shows up front how much it's going to cost to sponsor them, that specific mom, just depending on her needs. So they're going to financially support her, but also just be a more direct like encourager for her. So we've had groups and churches throw virtual baby showers for the moms that they adopt, sending notes. We had a church and their school, they had the second graders write cards to the mom and just encouragement. And so we got that sent over to her. So it's just a really cool way. And it's just more of a committed type of sponsorship. So there's so many different ways that we're able to do this, but it really just all kind of snowballed, I would say, from when we first started Let Them Live. About a little over 6 years ago, we never expected, Nathan and I never expected it to grow like it has. But I think there was just a real need for this type of support. And I think we just kind of nudged in and kind of filled a gap. So when there is a need, and it's a pretty obvious one, and you have a very simple solution for it, I think then it kind of fundraises for itself in a sense.
Yeah, and I love too that because people love to give to specific projects. It's one thing, to ask for people to donate to your pregnancy center or different organizations, but when they see like a very specific, tangible need that, your center is out of size 6 diapers, I always felt when I worked in a center, it was like when you could ask that specifically on social media and just put out a social media blast that, hey, we're out of size 6 diapers and wipes. And then all of a sudden they would just start showing up,
Yep.
from Amazon and Walmart and everything, because they do like to just know specifically where that money is going. But then how great that they can connect personally with that mom and know that this one particular mom, they're kind of following her story and they're getting those updates and really seeing how the value of, their generosity is really impacting her and her family. So I really, really love that. And the
Yeah.
fact that you guys do it all digitally.
That's a huge part of it too, that, I think this kind of comes naturally to me, but something that's so important that a lot of organizations miss as well is the after donation part. There's a lot of care and attention that should be put into donors, showing them where their money is going, like you said, and showing them that it has impact. That's a huge thing for retaining donors and helping them that you need their continued support. So we definitely love on our donors a lot. They are informed, they're up to date, they have access to me directly. I mean, everyone has my cell phone number. So just like little things like that make a huge difference in like the longevity of fundraising too.
Yeah, I love that. And then you kind of touched on this already, but just I guess if you could tell us a little more about like just the follow up and throughout the journey, like how long after do you stay in touch with these moms? Like as far as if they're doing the monthly Zoom meetings, can they just stay involved in that for however long they want to, or do they kind of age out of the program after a certain amount of time?
So it really depends on the mom. I still text with moms from that gave birth 5 years ago, and we still stay up to date. Nathan and I, sometimes if they need a little bit, we'll hand up here or there, like we'll help them out personally. So it really depends on the mom. There are moms that we've helped, 5 years ago as well, 6 years ago that they just kind of went their way, and that's okay. It just really depends on the connection. And that's the same thing with the moms today. Some of the counselors, I mean, man, they just build some of the best relationships. And like I said before, not a majority. This is just this tiny, tiny number of moms, but some of them that we come across are just not, they don't really want help. I mean, they just, it's hard to describe, but they don't really want to experience it to the fullest. And so they're probably not going to want to have a relationship for long. So definitely depends on the mom's comfortability. But as far as the support groups, Once they give birth, they are moved into our postpartum support groups, and that they are more than welcome to stay. We also provide like our financial coaching courses. We actually have one for after they've given birth that they are invited to be part of as well. So we keep some of these resources going so that it's not just, oh, you gave birth, you're cut off. That's never what we want. So we try to keep the line of communication open, especially if a financial plan, some of our financial plans actually extend past birth. It's not always super common, but it could be something where a mom comes to us and what she's really scared about is affording childcare when her baby comes. So that might be something where the financial support starts when she gives birth, or it could be something where she couldn't work because she got really sick and she had to be on bed rest. And so we extended her financial plan. So just things like that. But there's so many different ways. But I love to keep in touch with as many moms as possible because it's just crazy to see them grow, to see their babies grow up, and just to see them develop as a person.
Mm-hmm. That's wonderful. So I love that there is that ongoing connection that they can stay involved in those groups. So can we circle back, I guess, to our affiliates and our listeners? How you mentioned that Summer does a training program for pregnancy centers. So how does that work, and how would our centers get connected with that so that they could, learn more about how they can collaborate and partner with you?
Sure. Yeah, if you go to our website, which is letthemlive.org, you are able to fill out a contact form. You can also email us directly at info@letthemlive.org and mention that you're a pregnancy center, you want a partner, and our team is going to get you connected with Summer, and she will set up a time. So we don't have specific dates, that we do training and you have to make that. It's very one-on-one. So she'll schedule a time and kind of go through things, and she's there as a resource throughout. And we'll be able to kind of help you guys as we go. So info@letthemlive.org or letthemlive.org and fill out the contact form.
Okay. And do you have a specific story that you could share about a connection with a pregnancy center and a specific mom, maybe that you can think of?
Yeah, there's a pregnancy center in Connecticut that we have partnered with a number of times, and it's really amazing because they have this need and we have a need, and we're able to fill each other's needs. So they're really great. They've referred a number of moms to us, and not always all of them are going to be that perfect success story, but I remember that there was this one mom, and she was homeless and she was in this really desperate situation and needed a lot of support. So the pregnancy center rallied around her. We rallied around her, and the program just fit like a glove for her. It all just was the craziest thing. Like it all just worked in tandem. Like the communication was flowing. This mom was so grateful. She was doing what she needed to do on her end. We were doing what we needed to do. The pregnancy center was doing what they needed to do. And she really got back up on her feet. During our support groups, she committed we had a number of moms actually commit to abstinence, and from that point forward, which was amazing. So she was part of that. She was really an engaged mom who wanted to make her life better. And so that was a story that not only we could share with our donors, but that the pregnancy center could share with their donors and supporters as well. And I think that's a really beautiful thing to share with donors, because I think a lot of donors like to see that we're working together. So that's just one. I mean, we've had so many success stories.
Sure.
One of the craziest ones, though, this was more with a sidewalk advocate. We've had a lot of really great interactions with sidewalk advocates, but we did have a mom who found us on Instagram while she was inside Planned Parenthood, and she had the ultrasound and she was about to go back for the abortion. She was scrolling and she just found a post of ours, took that as a sign and reached out to us. And we immediately got a counselor on the phone. So she was talking to one of our pregnancy counselors in the bathroom at Planned Parenthood, and she walked out, and the sidewalk advocate was able to help her get to the pregnancy center. So you can see how like all three different types of supports work together to help this mom. We kind of jumped in as like the 911 line. The sidewalk advocate made sure she got where she needed to go, and the pregnancy center was there to give that in-person support, and we just kept working from there. So really cool stories, honestly.
I love that. That gives me chills, actually, just that beautiful unity and that beautiful collaboration of everyone working together. And I think we see that in our centers all the time, just with sidewalk counselors and mobile units and adoption agencies and different resources in the community. And just when people at the church, individual churches, Embrace Grace groups, when everybody comes together to help and support those moms, it's really a beautiful thing. So I love your heart behind all of this, Emily, and your husband, and just how, like I said earlier, that how God just he touches the heart of his people, to start these organizations and these resources that can really help the community. So I love that. Thank you so much for sharing all about how it got started and the impact that you're making. And I love how you work with pregnancy centers. And again, for our listeners out there, connect with Emily and her team at Let Them Live. It's letthemlive.org, correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We just would love to see you guys connect and, just be able to empower more women. So thank you, Emily, for being with us today and for sharing. And Christine, I will turn it back over to you.
Thanks, Kathy. Thanks, Emily. I think you said it earlier on that Let Them Live was about 6 years old at this point. So that's a younger organization, and we look forward to seeing how that growth happens. It's pretty cool to think that it all started with you and your husband giving all you had, and now with so many people joining in on that, they've been able to provide so much for so many moms out there. I will add some of those notes, those links, the email address that Emily mentioned in the show notes, and be sure to subscribe to our podcast so that you get further updates on the pregnancy help world. And with that, we wish you all a wonderful and blessed rest of your day. And thanks for listening to this episode of the Pregnancy Help Podcast.